Hello there. Fancy meeting you here. We're back, and it's week 2. We're back for our online tailgates, Bengals UK's online tailgates, the pioneering pre-game show that comprises all the elements that you would find at an in-person tailgate, but online. How about that? It's like the future today. That's what it is. And look, Dockers has just joined us as well. He's got big new ears as well, Dockers, haven't you?
Evening all.
Hello.
Joining myself, Dockers, is Pete as well. Hello, Pete.
Afternoon.
And Jamie Rowe. Jamie, good afternoon to you.
Hello, how are you? And this live stream is brought to you by Guinness. Guinness is good for you.
It is apparently good for you. I mean, is there any truth in that? I mean, Joe Burrow.
There's no truth whatsoever in it.
Guinness. Is there some sort of malt extract in there that does you good? Is it some sort of elixir that we can confidently claim that's good for you?
I mean, supposedly it's high in iron.
But it is.
Yeah.
It used to be prescribed by doctors for.
So did cocaine, though. To be fair, Pete.
Yes.
No, for post-pregnant, my wife had to have some Guinness post-birth of one of our children, because
is that some yarn that you wove, Pete?
No, it's because living with me requires her to be drunk all the time.
Okay, all right. This, of course, is our first online tailgate of the season. We missed out on week 1 last week because we had a meet-up in Birmingham. So thank you so much to everyone who came and watched the game. We didn't particularly enjoy the ending there, but we're back for week 2, as hopeful as ever. We've got coming up for you in this pack show, we have some live music very soon. We have also some amazing wings recipe for all you home cooks out there. Moz is back with his beer recommendations, and Adam is back with his last-minute fantasy football recommendations too. So stay tuned. There's lots to get through in this hour, not least to preview the game later on today. Of course, it's not a 6 p.m. kickoff in the UK. It's a 9:25 tonight. But we thought we'd bring you the tailgate now because, people are getting ready for the 6 o'clock games, and it gives us an opportunity to go off, have some proper tea, and enjoy Red Zone in a relaxed manner. We haven't heard from you guys since last week, so I'm going to do a quick scoot round to get your views on the Steelers game, and then we're not going to sort of dwell too much on that. Dockers, what was your hot takes from last week? What went wrong?
Good question. For me, I think it's just a thing in every sport. You have what we call one of those games where, no matter what happens on paper, you turn up and you just have a massive shit on the floor. Minus 5 turnovers, and you still think you should win the game is a bizarre one. So, and they nearly did it. If they had someone who could snap a ball, if Drew Sample, second round blocking tight end, could block Minka Fitzpatrick, maybe they win the game. So, yeah, I think just try not to read too much into it. I mean, the Steelers do this. They win when they shouldn't. They beat the Bills the same time last year in this week 1. So I think it's move on to week 2.
Pete, you're nodding. Agreement there.
I think Andrew's got that spot on. It was just a perfect storm. I mean, we didn't have this tailgate last week. This is the first one. So this is game 1. So that Steelers game must be in pre-season. We can ignore that one. It's pre-season, doesn't count. But it just was a perfect storm. You're not going to see Burrow play like that and throw those picks again, probably any time in his career. You've got the injury to the long snapper. How often do you get that? You've got the opportunity to still win the game, as Andrew said, and it's week 1-itis. It happens up and down the league. It's where we go from here. I think lots of people, in predicting the results, as everyone does, predicted a home win to the Bengals and then possibly a loss to the Cowboys in week 2. Well, if we beat them today, and a lot has changed, if we beat them today and we're 1-1, it's exactly as a lot of people expected, just the other way around. So off we go.
I agree. Jamie, we heard lots from you last week about various things. But let's turn our attention to Dallas. Backup quarterback for Dallas. It's tempting to say, "Hey, no problem," right? But
oh
the
dear!
Bengals.
I mean, the Bengals and backup quarterbacks is a tale as long as history. I mean, I can throw some names at you to make you feel sick. You know, the likes of Mike White and Tyrod Taylor and TJ Yates, all of whom have had some very nice days as backups. But maybe this isn't the same old Bengals. They're going up against a defense that has been lauded. You know, Matt Stafford was saying over the offseason that the Bengals defense in the Super Bowl was the hardest challenge that he had to come across. It was like trying to work out a riddle every snap that they were taking. And that could be difficult for Cooper Rush to go against. I think the defensive performance last week was stellar. It was stellar to almost the point of being flawless. Whereas on offense, it was where it went wrong. Hopefully, there have been lessons learned from how the offense went this last week. Certainly, there's been a bit of publicity about the play calling on offense. Hopefully, that is a problem that has been addressed, and we're able to go into Dallas and deal with their pass rushers, and to a lesser extent their back end. I'm not as high on Diggs as everyone else is, and hopefully the two sides of the ball catch up to each other.
Andrew, do you agree with those sentiments? Dallas there for the taking, but still some very good players.
Yeah, I'm glad Jamie brought up Diggs because that's an interesting one. He's one that the box score guys love because he's had quite a few picks, but you look at the rest of his stats last year and they're not very pretty. You think he was top 3 in terms of targeted as a cornerback. I think he allowed the most yards out of all cornerbacks who played every game. Top 10 in touchdowns allowed as a cornerback. So there's a reason why he's not as loved by, say, for Jamar going in on him in the changing room last week versus the more less media savvy people, should we say?
And Jamar Chase has enjoyed playing against him as well from his college days, hasn't he?
I can see our musical guest warming up off screen as we speak. Rebecca, give me a nod when you're good to go, and you've got a couple of minutes left, but we've got some messages through, and of course, do send us messages if you're watching this across our social channels, YouTube, Twitter and Facebook. Do drop us a message. Donnie Black says, "Who Day from Dallas."
Yes.
Donnie, have a fantastic time in Jerry World. Kevin Angel says, "F the Steelers." So that's an enduring sentiment that will last week by week. Matthew Morris says the game last weekend was one of the strangest you will ever see this season. Bizarre. Sod it. Move on. I think that's the general consensus, isn't it? Sod it and move on. There should be some sort of
there's a T-shirt there, isn't there?
Sorry, Pete.
Sod it. There's a T-shirt waiting to be made with that slogan on. Sod it.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, we don't play Dallas that often. I really hate the Cowboys. I must say they're up there with the Steelers for me as most hated. So I'm looking forward to this game. Hopefully, we can put one over on them, just from a selfish point of view. As I say, we don't play Dallas very often, and it's kind of an interesting one going to and playing in Dallas this weekend. And we've got Tony Romo on the comms, and it's it should be a big game. What are you expecting from Dallas? How are they going to attack us, do you think, Andrew?
Well, they'll struggle. There's definitely the start of a meltdown in Dallas. Zeke isn't what he used to be. I think that's what they'll try and do is create the run game for Cooper Rush. Tony Pollard is very good as a running back too, but again, I don't think he's a starting running back. So it's a nice combo duo there. They still have Zach Martin, who's a top 2, top 3 guard in the league, but passing wise, they struggled. Gallup's out. CeeDee Lamb is a very good receiver, but I'm not sure he's a true wide receiver one. I think he's a nice combination wide receiver, but when he's got the kind of double coverage, it's just not a guy, especially with Cooper Rush as your throwing quarterback, who you really, really stress about.
There always seems to be a meltdown in Dallas at some stage in the season. It's just come slightly earlier than it usually does. Pete, what about you? Are you scared? I mean, one person that we haven't spoken about is Micah Parsons, the defensive rookie of the year. He's got just versatility. I mean,
it's the pass rush, isn't
it? How are you feeling about him?
It's just the pass rush that scares me. The offense doesn't scare me in its current form. They'll nickel and dime us down the pitch if they can. I think Andrew's right. They'll try and lean on the running game, but it's not all that. Their defense is better than their offense, but as Jamie said earlier, the back end isn't all that scary, to be quite honest with you. It's the pass rush, and that starts with Micah Parsons, who's really found a very, very good niche for himself as a pass rusher. I'm not sure everyone predicted that he would be such an elite pass rusher when he entered the league, but that's certainly what he's become. And our new offensive line will have to protect Burrow better than they did last week, because they'll certainly be up against it with another very good pass rush. So we'll see.
Yeah, we raved about Jamar playing every snap. Micah Parsons did the exact same thing last week for Dallas, 100% of snaps. It's just ridiculous athleticism.
Yeah. Darren Wright says, for the first time this season, boys, who day to you, Darren. Welcome to week 2. Hope for some more chemistry in the team this week. And that was kind of fairly evident, I thought, last week. The lack of synchronicity, the rust that was being shown both on the offensive line. Burrow looked a little bit rusty. I guess you could have expected that. And I don't know, it was just a little bit too much too late in last week's game. What about us? It's likely that T. Higgins will play. I've been reading from the likes of Ian Rappaport. That's a very good thing indeed. But I mean, out of the kind of the detritus of last week, who impressed you? What gives us cause for optimism, Andrew? Do you think going forward?
I think you could see the change from the first quarter, even halfway through the second quarter. I think Burrow went 20 of 30 pretty much from then on. So I think he realized he was trying to do much. He was trying to hold the ball too long, take too much when it wasn't on. And I think he did realize that, and the game did change beyond that. Once you take those 3 interceptions away early, we pretty much dominated the entire game with top 5 run defense across the league. So I think the blueprint is there. It's just one of those horrific starts that you can't really get out of.
What about you, Pete?
I was disappointed. I was going to say, I was disappointed we didn't get to the quarterback as much as we would have expected. I mean, the defensive line was strong. It was good. It shut the running game down. Najee Harris was a non-factor for most of it, I think. But we just didn't get to the quarterback quite as much as I would have liked. I mean, the quarterback didn't beat us, that's for sure. On that last drive, Hubbard's offside really killed us. But I just want to see us get to the quarterback. Let's put this backup quarterback under pressure, and I'd like to see some of the young rushers start to make a name for themselves. We can only rely upon Hendrickson and Hubbard so much. We've now got samples, the Gunters, if he starts, the Osais. We just need to be applying far more pressure up front.
I mean,
Jamie,
as
your sorry, no, it doesn't, is it? But this past week, you've been fairly critical of Zach Taylor, and his play calling has come under scrutiny yet again. What are you hoping to see from Zach?
I want to see him get to page 2 of his playbook. I want to see just a tiny slice of variety in what we're doing. 80% of our running plays last week were wide zone out of I form. And unbelievably, the Steelers reacted to that and started keying in on it. I know Joe doesn't like play action. He doesn't necessarily need to do play action. They just need to show that formation and, run at least a couple of passes out of it. It's the Bengals are blessed with weapons on offense. They are blessed with probably the best kind of offensive skill players in the league. And even with T. Higgins out last week, there was still more than enough talent to go around to be able to succeed. And you have to feel that kind of lack of variety on offense was holding us back. Now, this week, I hope that that's going to change. Obviously, if we are sort of looking at sort of self-reproach and accountability, that will change. The thing I can see the Bengals succeeding at, and it goes to the point that Pete was making, was getting some pass rush going. The Cowboys' offensive line looks poor. They have probably one good starter out there right now. They've got a developmental rookie who came out of Tulsa this year starting at left tackle. They've got a bunch of guards that aren't anything. We can take them to the cleaners, hopefully. And that should be the sort of start and end of where we win this.
Well, we could talk about Zach's play calling all day, every day, I think. Matt Cattrall says, ha ha ha, gotta love Jamie's takes. Cry laugh emoji. Now, we as regular viewers will know this is not just four blokes talking about football. It's we try and, as I say, incorporate the elements of an in-person tailgate into this show. That's the whole point of it. And one of those elements, of course, is live music. And I'm delighted to say that we do have a live musical guest. So I'm going to bring in our guest for today. Hello, Rebecca.
Hello. Hi, Paul. Hi, everybody.
How's it going?
It's good. Yes, good here in Banbury. Thank you.
Very good. Well, I'm just making you large. So, Rebecca, tell us a little bit about you. You said you're from Banbury in Oxfordshire, a place I know very well. Tell us a bit more about you and where you play, what you play.
Oh, sure. Yes. Well, it's nice to be able to join you today. Usually I play in a band called Liam Vincent and the Odd Foxes.
Okay.
And we were supposed to be gigging yesterday in Exeter, and I wouldn't have been back by now. But I managed to I drove into a pothole basically while driving the team bus, and so we never got there. Yes.
So are all your bandmates not talking to you now, or?
I'm not talking to me. I just think one of our last it would have been our last summer gig really before we get into the autumn. We're playing on Friday in Northampton, so we get out and about as much as possible. But yeah, so that would have been fun. But anyway, I'm here with you instead, so that's nice.
Now, some people have speculated that you drove your van into the pothole deliberately just so you could be on this show. Is there any truth to that rumor, or no? No, I didn't think so. Right, Rebecca, excitingly, you're the first person on this first performer, I should say, on our tailgate that's going to play some songs accompanied by the piano, which is really exciting. So just let us know what you're going to play for us, and then I'll let you get on with it. Enough waffle, more music.
Cool. Well, thank you. Yeah, so in the band I play fiddle. We're a folk rock band, but I also write my own piano songs on all sorts of kind of subjects. But I thought I'd play you actually a cover which we all know and love, but we've all been reminded of it recently by Stranger Things. So I'm going to give you some Kate Bush to start with, and then I'll move on to something that one of my songs, if that sounds all right.
That sounds perfect. Rebecca Milam, take it away.
Thank you. It doesn't hurt me, yeah. Do you want to feel how it feels. Yeah, yeah, you. Do you wanna know that it doesn't hurt me? Yeah, yeah, you. Do you wanna hear about the deal I'm making? You. It's you and me. If I only could, I'd make a deal with God, and I'd get him to swap our places. Be running up that road, be running up that hill, be running up that building. If I only could. Don't wanna hurt me, yeah, yeah, you. But see how deep the bullet lies, yeah, yeah. Unaware I'm tearing you asunder, yeah, yeah, yeah. There is thunder in our hearts, yeah, yeah. So much hate for the ones we love, yeah, yeah. Tell me we both matter, don't we? It's you and me. It's you and me. Won't be unhappy if I only could. I'd make a deal with God, and I'd get him to swap our places. Be running up that road, be running up that hill, be running up that building. Oh. Come on, baby, come on, darling. Let me steal this moment from you now. Come on, angel, come on, darling. Let's exchange the experience. Oh, oh. If I only could make a deal with God, and I get him to swap our places. Be running up that road, be running up that hill, with no problem. Oh.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. That was amazing. And you're right, that song is in everyone's kind of minds at the moment. How lovely it was to hear that. Thank you very much.
Oh, great.
And you said you're going to play one of your own songs. You're part of Liam Vincent and the Old Foxes. That's the name of the band, isn't it?
Odd Foxes. Odd Foxes. We sometimes accidentally get called the Old Foxes, and then I get a complex.
Okay, right, okay. But this is one of your own tracks, right? So you play and compose music yourself.
Yes, that's right. I have an EP. If you'd like to see it, there we go.
Yes, well, there we go. And where do people get Underground from?
I can send you a copy if you want a physical copy, but it's on Spotify, and I'm working on some lyric videos for YouTube. So it's the songs are out there, and I'm writing new ones all the time. So this is where my midlife crisis really hits the road in my own stuff.
Well, it's a delightful way to have a midlife crisis, I think, and we're grateful for your crisis because we get to hear your song. So, Rebecca, take it away.
Oh, thank you. This song I'm going to play for you. I don't know anything about sport really, but I do know about going to the gym, and this song is about my gym instructor.
Okay.
And her name is Kylie. So the song is called Oh Kylie, and you'll hear in it my sort of protestations to Kylie that I don't believe we can do what she's suggesting, but then ultimately a sort of realization that if you kind of keep on, then you do get somewhere.
I think a lot of people can empathise with that really, and relate to that personal trainer hell. But yeah, Rebecca, go for it, man.
Cool, thanks. Oh, Kylie, we can try. Maybe you were only being kind, or maybe you just had to hold the party line. Oh, Kylie, will we find we're on a heading that's getting us nowhere? A change of bearing would be better if we dare. If you've the chance to go back to the start to find what's lost, restore the chord that maybe could have been or never was. Trust your choice, quiet the noise of every voice that will chime in with it. Say, count the cost, do it anyway. Oh, Kylie, I don't mind. It's worth us spending all this time. You always add a bit of glitter to the grind. Oh, Kylie, I'll be fine. You have to break something to mend it many times. When put together better, then your life can shine. If you've the chance to go back to the start to find what's lost, restore the chord that maybe could have been but never was. Trust your choice, quiet the noise of every voice that will time in with it. Say, count the cost, do it anyway. You're strong for sweetness. From sweet to strong, whether right or wrong. From sweet to strong, whether right or wrong. If you've the chance to go back to the start to find what's lost, restore the chord that maybe could have been but never was. Trust your choice, quiet the noise of every voice that will chime in with it. Say, count the cost, count the cost, do it anyway. There you are, that's so kind.
I want to meet Kylie now. Does Kylie know she's had a song written up?
He's great.
Okay. Rebecca, what a treat to meet you. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. You can now say you've appeared on an online tailgate and people will look at you.
I can. I'm going to do a screenshot while you're here,
Please
if that's
do.
right.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
And I'll do one and
I'll try to look normal.
you.
There we go, I think I've done it correctly. There we go. Lovely.
Well, there
to
you
see
go, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed that. That's Rebecca Mylan from Banbury in Oxfordshire. Rebecca, thank you so much.
See you soon. Cheers.
Bye-bye. There we go. Pete's back, large. He's having it large. And huge thanks to Rebecca Milam there, our first musical guest of the new season. Andrew Knott says, blimey, early start to the tailgate. You lads drinking all the way to kick off. Looking forward to the game and proof that first half of last week is not who we are this year. And
I've just come back from a women's football match this afternoon, so I spent quite a lot of the afternoon possibly on the cans as well.
Well, you're doing well. Your dad has been in touch, Jamie.
Oh,
enjoy
heck.
the game.
What now?
Nice song. Waiting all night for the Packers game. Go Pack, go plus.
Go to bed. Go to bed now.
Ceiling Cat, who day? We've got acute adomititis, not appendicitis. Well, we have now. From music to food. Andrew, have you had a good food summer? Have you been eating lots of nice things?
Yeah, I've been trying my best. I sent a picture to the group today that I threw some bacon into a garlic baguette just for a freestyle. But yeah, love my food.
Look, amazing, actually. Right, I think we should, as I say, switch seamlessly from music to food. So let's see if I can find Tom's video. This is a group member, Tom McDowell. He's going to show us how to make some pretty spectacular wings. So notepads at the ready.
Good day, guys. It's Tom McDowell here. Today I'm going to be doing a bit of a food segment for you, and I'm going to do a new recipe that I saw online and thought, yep, that's definitely me. I'm going to do Guinness and pretzel chicken wings. So the idea is you cook up your wings. I've got kind of a base recipe which I normally use for most of my wings, and then you cook up a sauce which you coat the wings in, and then I'm going to roll them around in some crushed up pretzels, which will hopefully make a really nice crispy crust on the wings whilst they're nice and moist inside. So let's see how it goes. Right, so here we go. This is one of the steps of the chicken wings. So I've got some quite basic chicken wings and chopped off the tips and turned them into flats and drums. And so now we'll do the sort of dry seasoning for them. So I'm going to add some cracked black pepper to it. I'll add quite a bit because I like pepper. Then we've got some smoked paprika. I'll tip all of that in. For a bit of heat, add some chili flakes. Obviously, the more flakes, the hotter the flavour. We'll add some sea salt. Look at that, I look like a professional. And then this is a secret ingredient, is a chicken oxo cube. So I tend to just crush the cube and then sprinkle it on, and it's basically just salt and chicken flavouring. So that adds a bit of depth to the flavour. So add all that into the ingredients. And then here is one of the secret ingredients, is baking powder. Now this dries out the skin of the chicken wings and makes them extra crispy. Normally I would be doing these on the barbecue, but because my fuel is low, I'm going to be using the oven today. And then to top it off, I'll use a bit of corn flour as well, which I find just thickens up the wings and dries them out a little bit more. So add quite a bit of corn flour there. And then what we'll do is we'll give that a good old stir, make sure all the wings are evenly covered, and then I will transfer them onto a baking tray. I'll see you then. Right, so I've left the marinating chicken wings for a few hours uncovered in the fridge, which helps dry them out a little bit. And now they're ready to go into the oven. So I'm going to put them onto a baking tray, evenly spread out, and then we'll put them in the oven probably for 45 minutes to an hour on about gas mark 5 or 6 until they're done. Like I say, normally I do these on the barbecue, but today I will be doing them in the oven. Hopefully the results will be similar. You know what? I'm just going to tip them in. So spread them out nice and evenly, and then every so often turn them over so that they get crispy on each side, and then hopefully they'll be ready to take on the sauce and then the pretzels. Okay, so now the wings have cooked, we are now moving on to the Guinness sauce. So we're going to put half a bottle of Guinness into a hot frying pan, or saucepan in fact. Then I'm going to use some honey, which will hopefully add to the stickiness, add a bit of sweetness to the bitter. And then we've got some black treacle, again very sticky, will add some real depth to the sauce. Because the idea is you want a nice sticky sauce so that when we roll the wings in the pretzels, they'll stick to it quite nicely. And then I'm going to finish it off with some liquid smoke. You don't need much to it, but that's all we need, and that will add a nice smoky flavour to it. So now I'm going to use my well-used Bengals spatula. Cheers to Scott Gibb for getting that for me. And then we're going to give that a good stir, and then reduce it right down until it goes into quite a sticky glaze for the wings to go on. Okay, so now the sauce has reduced. It's taken quite a while. I've made a horrendous mess of the oven, so the mess is going to kill me. But that's getting quite thick and sticky now. So now, if we look at the wings over here, I'm now going to chip them into the saucepan. Oh, casualty. 10-second rule. Ow. And then we'll give it a good stir. That'll give them a nice coating of the glaze. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take them out and start rolling them in some crushed pretzels that I've ground up earlier. I'll get a spoon and then lightly cover it with the crushed pretzels, and then we will put it back in the baking tray and we'll cook them for a little bit longer so it all crisps up. So we'll do that for all the other wings, and then I'll show you what they look like when they come out of the oven. So I've just taken them out of the oven after about another 15 minutes just to bake the crust on, and I have tried one and it is lovely. You have a nice sort of bitterness from the Guinness sauce with a nice salty finish from the pretzels, and they work really nice. They're very Moorish. So if you do try it, let me know how they get on, because they're lovely. Hooday.
Oh wow.
So many things to say.
Right, I'm hungry now. You're
Oh,
on mute.
Paul, you're on mute.
You're on mute, Paul. You're still on mute, Paul.
Oh, Paul, take your mute off.
See, I was
Well,
good there. I
okay.
muted myself during the thing. What I was saying was most people tend to be more taken aback by his cooking implements, his Bengal-themed cookware and spatulas than the actual recipe. Now, as I'm a vegetarian, so I couldn't care less about that recipe, quite frankly. But how you meat eaters, how did that go down?
Well, it doesn't necessarily need to be a meat-based recipe. You can always roll a parsnip in Guinness and pretzel sauce. That looked amazing, and if you want to send a few in a jiffy bag down to my address, and I'm sure you'll be able to find my address because he's a weird stalker.
Just say he can, shall we?
Yes, yeah. I'm sure you'll be able to, get some to me. I'd be very grateful for some Guinness pretzel wings through my door.
What about you, Andrew? You're confirmed.
He never ceases.
Chef about town. Are you into that sort of stuff?
I was shocked by the baking powder. That was a new one, so I had to Google that. And apparently, the alkalinity of baking powder breaks the peptide bonds in the chicken's skin to increase crispiness.
Ooh,
that was a cool fact.
Food scientist talking. Yeah.
I was thinking, why not flour? Why not cornstarch? But yeah, there we go. That is why that was used. I'm not normally a kind of a pretzel crumb man, but I think if you're oven baking wings, having that texture is a nice addition. So yeah, Tom is the king of wings, so I'll trust him.
And you, Pete, are you into that? You said you're feeling hungry now.
Yeah, it never ceases to amaze me how he comes up with such variety for his chicken wings. Look, if it's packed full of flavour, then it's worth doing, and I'm sure they were packed full of flavour with the Guinness and the treacle and then the pretzels. So yeah, sounds great.
Well, after that food, you need something to wash it all down with, and you'll be glad to know that Moz is back with some beer recommendations. So here's Moz.
Bengals fans, Moz is back. Moz is back with 2 beer recommendations for you all. Now, with how life is and the crazy times of prices and stuff like that, I am making a conscious decision of making sure that all these beers are reasonably priced. You know, I'm trying to keep the price down as much as possible, so you won't be seeing any big crazy stouts. I might treat it to one actually near Christmas time. We will have a treat at Christmas, haven't we? And stuff like that. But I will make sure all these beers are within good pricing, because I know times are tough. It's absolutely, I want to swear, but I won't swear to make sure Paul doesn't do any editing. But it's an absolute disgrace how things are at the minute. But I want people to still enjoy themselves. I know everyone else wants to enjoy themselves because life's too short. But all these beers will be reasonably priced, and I guarantee you they will be all excellent. I'd have tried them myself, and if I think they're crap, I will not recommend them. First, and there's going to be a lot of German lagers as well before I start. I will recommend, if you like your German lagers, keep watching for all these weeks. You should be watching anyway because it's the best. But, you know, it's going to be a lot of German lagers, I can promise you that. The first one is from Augustina. You would have probably heard of Augustina if you know German beers. This is the Pilsner. You probably recognise the Helles. That is really famous and really well known and really quite easy to get. The Pilsner you can get, I can get from beer merchants, and they did have it in beer sniffers. They haven't had recently, but I know beer merchants get it in a lot. Usually about the £2.50 mark a bottle. It's a 5.6% Pilsner. So with a Pilsner you should expect clean snappiness, load of grassiness in there, and this is just grass clippings for days, but super refreshing, super crisp, super delicious. And I won't lie, since the moment I found out that this Pilsner existed, most times I go from one of these 2 bottle shops, I will buy at least 6 to 8 for myself, and my dad will be the same as well. He'll get an absolute load of them as well. We're both absolutely massive fans of that. And obviously it's good price. The only small bottles as well, even if it's 5.6, the small bottles, I've noticed that with Germany, they seem to do Pilsners and small bottles. The second beer I will recommend is from Pipeline. This is Green Room. I need to remember that, so I keep forgetting it. And it's a 5% Citra IPA. For me, I did a review on this on my channel. And I described it as one of the best single hopped IPAs this year. It's an absolutely fantastic beer. They're from St Agnes in Cornwall. And Pipeline are a really good brewery. Really solid, and they don't do bad beers. But this one was one of the best ones I've had from them. I can't remember the price. I drank it in September, so they should be knocking about still. And I reckon they're probably around the £5 range. But it is an absolute delicious beer. Absolutely delicious. It's really tropically and it's orangey and citrusy and pineapple-y, and it was a really fantastic single IPA. I've not had many better than that. Full stop, never mind this year. So yeah, get on that. Really good stuff. And then my 2 beers I recommend. First time I've worn a Bengals jersey since the Super Bowl. Yeah, it's crazy rides, isn't it? That's Bengaldom for you, isn't it? That's why we all stick through them thick and thin. But anyway, hope you all have a great Sunday. Hopefully we get that first win under our belts, especially because I'm going Turkey next week, so I need us to go 1-1 at least. But anyway, hope you have a great Sunday, great beer, great food with all your loved ones and your family and friends, and yeah, just have a great day. And I'll catch you all next week. Who day?
You've done it again, Paul.
Anyway,
there
right. Grass clippings for days, says Moz on one of those beers. Dane Roberts says, "Who day from Germantown, Ohio? I'd love to try those wings." German there. I think Moz is intimating that there's going to be a lot of German content in his beer reviews this season. Any of those take your fancy? Moz has been sort of showing off some pretty extraordinary beers on his channel, which is, I think, is what's it called? You challenge yourselves, and I'll try and find Moz's channel.
All right. Well, certainly I love the Augustina Hells, which is as Moz has said, it is starting to become fairly widespread among the hipster bars of merry old England. But I'm going to give that Pilsner a try. I know a place where I think I can probably get hold of it. They usually do a ton of good German stuff, so I might turn up next week with a bottle of that instead of the delicious Guinness that I currently am getting through.
I'm intrigued what he's going to come back from Turkey with, which Turkish lagers we're going to be told about.
I'm just intrigued what he's going to come back from Turkey, full stop, not necessarily lagers. But yeah, he does have I'm sure, Moz, if you're out there, just drop us a line what your channel is called. Dane, I would assume if you just Dane, I would assume if you just Google the names of the beers, and I'm sure you'll be able to get hold of them. But I mean, what do you need?
The Beard Man.
You've got an amazing brewing culture in Cincinnati with some extraordinary beers there. Yeah, Moz says his channel on YouTube is called The Beard Man. Beard spelled B-E-E-R. So go and check The Beard Man out on YouTube. Right, we're getting towards the end of well, not really. We've timed that quite nice. I told you it was going to be quite a packed show today. Where's this game going to be won and lost, do you think, Andrew?
I think defensively, I think we need to control their run game. I think that's where they're going to try and start it from. And if they can't start that, they're going to be in a difficult position. Similar to last week, I think, although we didn't get the sacks we would have liked on defense, I think we really contained them. I think they had 2 20-yard air passes, one of which was that toe tap at the end. I think the other was the sneak screen. So we just completely controlled the deep passing game there. So if we can replicate that, I'm very confident we win this game.
What about you, Pete? Where do you think it's going to be won and lost today?
Yeah, equally confident. As with many games, it's going to be won and lost up front. Offensive line, defensive line, who's going to come out on top. But that having been said, I think there's one person who's going to be extra motivated in this game, and I could see a big game and perhaps a pick for Chidobe Awuzie returning to the Cowboys after they let him go. So I think he'll certainly enjoy that. So yeah, I'm hoping for a Bengals win today.
What about you, Jamie?
Yeah, I think Jamar Chase is going to have Trayvon Diggs on skates, and with an adventurous approach to offense, I think we can really lay down a statement today and put week 1 behind us.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? I mean, it was a bit gutting last week, but I guess you've got to view it, it is a marathon, not a sprint, and all that kind of stuff. So it was last week, wasn't it? But I am hoping that we can do much better today. Look more in sync, more on it, more intense. But yeah, I think if we can shut down the running game and make them pass, it's going to be interesting actually, because there's been a lot of chat about how a lot of teams might play more cover 2 against us this year, try and take away the deep ball, which means longer, more sustained drives. Which I remember when a lot of people last year jumped down O.C. Umenyiura's throat for kind of saying that the Bengals were just a big play offense. And I don't think he was having a go. It was just he was it was an observation that we were a big play offense. Now the test this year is whether we can build sustained long drives, shorter pass game, if teams are indeed taking away the long game. So I'm interested to see how this team develops, and more importantly, adapt to what other teams are doing to us. So
I mean, if a defense sits in cover 2, we can kill them underneath. Chase isn't just a deep threat guy. He can find the holes and he can catch balls short and kill them, like with Yak. I don't respect the Cowboys secondary at all. I think there's quite a lot of joy to be had there.
Pete, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. I'd also, when T. Higgins was knocked out of the game, we did see that we weren't the same. The offense wasn't the same when they were able to shut down Chase as a result. I had hoped that Hayden Hurst would have got more of a look at that time, and he didn't. What we saw of him looked exciting. I would like to see Hayden Hurst play a much bigger role in this offense, even when we're at full strength, because he does bring an extra dimension. And what Jamie said there about we don't necessarily have to play the deep ball. I think Hurst sitting just on linebackers, keeping them occupied, running them around, will free up more in the secondary. Hayden Hurst needs to be brought into this offense a lot more.
Certainly encouraging signs there last week. Get your predictions ready, because we're going to talk about our predictions and give you our predictions later on. Well, momentarily. First of all, we've got Adam giving you his last-minute waiver wire pickups for fantasy football.
Good evening, Bengals fans. Hope you're all enjoying the tailgate today. Looking forward to the first game of the season against the Cowboys. Pretty sure there was no football last week, so we'll just say this is the first game. Obviously, looking forward to this one. I think we should obviously win against a backup quarterback, but you're not here for that. I'm here for the fantasy advice. And looking at the games this week, I can see that Carson Wentz is available in quite a few leagues at quarterback. He's got a fairly good matchup against the Lions. I think there's going to be a lot of points in that game. He's probably the only quarterback that is available and is going to put up decent points. I think he's a good streaming option this week. Running back, there is a few more options. You might be able to pick up Jeff Wilson for the San Francisco 49ers, but he's probably taken already. Nyheim Hines for the Colts. The Colts are missing most of their pass catchers. Michael Pittman and someone else are expected to be out. I can't remember who that is now. So he's probably a good look. I think he'll get a lot more in the passing game this week. And Mark Ingram for the Saints is looking like Alvin Kamara could be out for this one. If he is, then Mark Ingram's going to get the start and should be able to put up some numbers. Paris Campbell is a wide receiver for the Colts. He, again, due to the fact that they don't really have anyone else there, should get a lot. But Ashton Doolin randomly got quite a lot of receptions for them last week. So probably worth looking at those two. In the league I'm in with 10 players on the NFL Fantasy app, Jarvis Landry is available for the Saints. He's probably a decent look as well. Other than that, Julio Jones might be available in the same game. He had actually a very good game last week. He put up his 2 fastest speeds in the last 3 years. So he looks like he's healthy and he's playing on a far better team than he's been used to. Tight end, who knows? It's always a rough position. Hunter Henry is available in the league that I'm in for the Patriots, and Hayden Hurst. Obviously, our guy had a pretty big game last week for what we were expecting. I think not many people were expecting him to have as many receptions as he did, so he's probably a decent one to look at. Defense, you are probably looking at, well, if you can get the Packers, then you're sorted. The Bears had 8 receptions, last week, and they play in the Sunday night game. The Packers should be able to bounce back after their defeat last week. The Broncos hosting the Houston Texans. If you can get them, brilliant. You probably can't. And obviously, we know the Steelers' defense was pretty darn good last week. They're playing a really poor Patriots side. Let's hope for a much better game tonight. I think Joe Burrow needs to cut out the mistakes. Obviously, if he does that, then we should win comfortably against the Cowboys. Hooday.
There we go. Thank you to Adam, who will be joining us once more throughout the season to give you some last minute waiver wire tips. Let's go.
Well,
to
it has to
some
be said.
more.
I was just saying he mentioned Julio Jones as an option, but Julio Jones has been confirmed out for today's game.
Okay. Darren Wright says the Bengals win 30-7. Andrew Knott says would take a steady, conservative first half, then think we open up second half to win relatively comfortably 31-20. Craig Robbins says 35-9. Time to bounce back, make a statement, and kickstart the season. Who day? Tom Board says take care of the ball and stay healthy. The W will take care of itself. And Ceiling Cat says 31-10 Bengals. Right, let's go around the table. Pete, let's start with you. What's on your mind? What's in terms of predictions?
I'm being a little bit more conservative. Despite what our offense can be, we're matching up against their strength, which is their defense. I think defenses will probably be on top in this game. But we have enough in us. We have enough variety in our offense to win this. And I've got 20-13 Bengals win.
Jamie?
I want to kind of put a name to the fears that I have over Bengals playing against backup quarterbacks. It's nothing rooted in any level of sanity or any level of kind of conscious thinking. Yeah, it's not rational, but I'm scared of backup quarterbacks. I always have been. I still don't think the power of Cooper Rush, who is clearly a made-up player, will down us. But we do need to be careful. I'm going to say it's 26-17 Bengals.
And Andrew?
I mentioned the Bills lost last time in 21 week 1. What did they do in week 2? They beat the Dolphins 35-0. I think something kind of similar here. You take away the Browns week 18 and the online tailgate is still undefeated in 2022. So we're clearly a positive. We clearly don't lose. Bengals 30, Cowboys 13. Woozier gets a pick. Liao sets up some big runs just to sting Jerry's world a bit more.
I would love to quote a famous ex-football manager. I would love it. I would love it if we could do that. And
love it.
I don't doubt that we can, but I am going to go with Pete a little bit more conservative. I'm going for 23-17 Bengals, and I still think we take a bit of time just to get back into rhythm, basically. And like Pete said, their strength is their defense. Obviously, away from home, Jerry World's going to have some sort of effect, maybe. Although with Burrow, it doesn't seem to have any effect whatsoever. Wherever he plays, he just does not care. I expect us to be better this week, and I do actually expect us to win, objectively speaking. So, 9:25, bring it on. We've only got 4.5 hours to go until kickoff. The reason why we do this tailgate early on late kickoffs is because, it's kind of quite nice for a lot of British NFL fans to stick Red Zone on, relax, have some nice tea, as we mentioned before, and have a few drinks and not worry. Just watch NFL football without that kind of knotted feeling in the pit of your stomach, like you do with the Bengals game. So we always have it early on late kickoffs. Next week we'll be back normal time because it will be a 6 o'clock kickoff because we're in New York next week. But anyway, there you go. That's a wrap for our first online tailgate of the season. I hope you enjoyed it. Many thanks to Rebecca, who joined us to play some of her tunes. That was great. Fantastic work from Tom and his Guinness and pretzel wings, and obviously his amazing Bengals cookware. And thanks to you guys. Thanks to Dockers. Thanks to Pete.
Good day.
And thanks to Jamie.
Good day.
And thanks to me, Nathan and Noah will be back for the podcast tomorrow. Until then, enjoy the game and a who day.